Hello everyone, in this video we're going to take a look at parallel lines. But before we go into that, let's quickly review your understanding of lines. So which of these are lines? The correct answers are option B and option D. To understand why, make sure to check out my video on lines, line segments and rays. Now remember that lines extend infinitely in both directions. I will use arrowheads to represent this attribute. That is why we can draw these lines like this. Notice that these lines cross each other at a certain point. Can you spot the point where they intersect? And do you remember what we call that point? Well, in the video on angles and degrees, we learned that the point where lines, line segments or rays meet is called the vertex. So this point right here is the vertex. Now here's something for you to try. Say we have two lines and 3 points labeled A, B and C. Can you figure out where these lines are going to intersect? That is, at which point will they cross each other? Remember, lines go on forever. If we draw these lines like this, you will notice that they intersect at point A. But what about lines that don't intersect? Lines that never cross each other are called parallel lines. For example, the two lines on the screen are parallel. They will never meet no matter how far you extend them. We can see this clearly when we draw these lines like this. One key feature is that parallel lines run in the same direction. So great, now that you understand parallel lines, here's a question for you. Which of these lines are parallel to each other? Option A is incorrect because line 1 and line 4 intersect. And remember, parallel lines don't intersect. Option B is also incorrect because line 1 and line 3 intersect. Option C is correct because line 2 and line 3 run in the same direction. Option D is incorrect because line 4 and line 3 don't run in the same direction. In fact, it looks like they will intersect at some point. Also keep in mind that parallel lines aren't limited to just 2. We can have 3, 4 or even more lines that are parallel to each other. Now sometimes it's hard to tell which lines are parallel to each other. So let's look at how to signify that two lines are parallel in a problem. So suppose we have two lines, one with points A and B, and the other with points E and F. Remember, when naming lines, we use any 2 points on the line and place a line symbol above them. So the first line can be named line AB, with a line symbol above the letters. The second line can be named line EF, with a line symbol above the letters. To indicate that these two lines are parallel, we use the parallel symbol, which looks like 2 vertical lines. So this reads line AB is parallel to line EF. Great, now you can represent parallel lines using the correct notation. Let's say we now have the points C and D on the first line, and the points G and H on the second line. Which of the following options correctly shows that these two lines are parallel? Option 1 is wrong because B isn't a point on the second line, so we can't name the line BH. Option 2 is also wrong because the points used are incorrect. Option 3 is correct because both lines are named correctly. Remember, the order of the points doesn't matter, so line GH can also be written as line HG. Option 4 is wrong because the notations for the lines are incorrect. If you are still unsure about how to name lines, check out my video on lines, line segments and rays, where I explain how to do this in detail. The link is in the description. Now let's wrap up this video with an interesting scenario. Suppose you have 3 lines. The first line is parallel to the second line and the second line is parallel to the third line. Do you think the first and the third lines are parallel to each other? So let's put this more formally. Suppose we have points on the 3 lines and we know that line AB is parallel to line GH, and line GH is parallel to line KL. So is line AB parallel to line KL? Here's a simple way to figure it out. Since line AB and line GH are parallel, they both run in the same direction. Likewise, since line GH and line KL are parallel, they also run in the same direction. That means that line AB and line KL must be running in the same direction too, so they are also parallel. So if you have 3 lines and you know that the first line is parallel to the second line and the second line is parallel to the third line, that means the first line must also be parallel to the third line. In the next video, we'll be looking at what we call perpendicular lines. Stay tuned.